The more I think about a lot of things in life, it'll be easy and okay to say that it's haters. But I'm going to say this, and like I always say, I don't care how anybody take this, because one thing I see about this so-called black community, many of you like to complain about many things that don't really matter. But when it comes to actually making the black community or any melanated people around the world better, you don't do nothing. And in my lifetime, I wouldn't say I tried my best, but I remain myself. And I watch a lot of so-called black people try to act like they was verbally beating me down. And I remember a lot of people saying that, oh, it ain't nothing gonna change, it's gonna be the same way from before you was born. Yeah, I don't, like, to be honest with you, I'm gonna say this. A lot of you black people in America and around the world are very weak. Okay? Very weak. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because whatever and the reason why I said whatever happened in world history with humans, because I see how people like to move the goalposts nowadays. And one thing I always say, I'm not playing with no humans in human history when they want to move the goalposts of what happened. So whatever happened with melanated people, a lot of stuff will continue to happen. Because one thing that I realized, a lot of you so-called street black people, right? You know what's going on, but you rather take the easy way out of so-called saying that they're your ops. And to be honest with you, a lot of black people, melanated people, brown, or whatever you want to call yourself, don't like to admit this one. But a lot of you are retards, and you don't have no sense. Okay? You don't have no sense, and I'm going to say this too, because a lot of black men in the so-called hood, and I say the so-called hood, because y'all think, right, they fighting for who killing each other worse. Y'all think that the hood is so-called black men in America. That's what y'all think the hood is, right? Let me tell you something. They effed y'all mentality up so much that a lot of black men actually think they getting something while they killing a brother and sister. And y'all would like to play foolish and say, oh, being politically correct. No, me, I am not being politically correct. I am just being myself. And you could continue to kill each other. You could continue to keep on doing what you want to do. Because I learned this in my lifetime of being from a little kid. I learned that a lot of so-called black men are punks. And when you talk about black excellence, or you talk about black men and black women and black children trying to better themselves in their communities, why do you think so-called gangsters and so-called thugs that will laugh at black people that want to do that? Because they have no common sense. And I'm going to say this, there's a lot of people in the street that are black. They're selfish. And what do you mean by that? If your mother and father gotta die for them to live to get $10 or anything, they'll kill your mother and father. For your children, they could die as well. The black community do not care about growing when it comes to the streets, okay? We do not care about growing. Nowadays, you want to see a lot of black people talking about, oh, Bloods and Crips need to get together. GDs and Peace Stones need to get together. Well, what this young generation is trying to get black people together is the youth that are trying their best. But a lot of people like to say, oh man, this and that. I'ma say this. Y'all show how soft y'all is, because other people, right, they could beat each other up. But when they beat each other up, they take over countries. And I'm gonna say this. Black man, you so bad, right? But this is why the Caucasian man would always fool you. Because you so bad, right? How could you be tough, right? But you still follow his lifestyle. Come on, man. Shit don't make no sense. And black men that stand up and say they're not gonna follow no Caucasian man, y'all so-called street dudes thinking y'all want to talk against y'all own brother and call your brother a hotep or peaceful or a church boy or call your sister a church girl. But y'all so-called thugs and gangsters, why do you think Karens and Johns or Kens in this world and other races and people, why do you think other people could disrespect black people like that? Because you have no respect for yourself and you have no respect for your community. So other people would always tear you up. And one thing I keep on learning, and I keep on saying it, I read a lot of books about black history, world history, right? And this is one thing that I would always learn, that you see. The more you talk about people bettering themselves, it's going to always be people in the background saying, get that nonsense out of here. And I understand now. I understand, because I'm never going to act like I'm perfect. No. But I'm going to say this. For all you religious people, the God that you say you believe in and that you believe in, right, knows my heart and soul. And if you can't comprehend that or even understand that, I don't care. Because a lot of people in this world, they like to play manipulation games. And a lot of people in this world, they would like to down you when they know that you're more educated than them, intelligent than them. And I'm going to toot my own horn right here. I seen a lot of people in this world try to talk down on me because I was more intelligent than them. My soul was more brighter than them, and my heart is more brighter than them. My heart is more cleaner than them. And I'm going to say this. It's going to be payback for all of y'all. Trust me. Whether it's in the physical world or the spiritual world. But trust me. Every single person that ever went against me, you will pay. You will pay. And some people will say, oh, how could you do that? You don't have... That's a waste of time. No, I don't got to do that. God gonna take care of that for me. And like I used to say, I'm not one of them people that's waiting for God, because I'm here on earth and I'm going to handle business. I ain't waiting for God. You going to get your handle. Because a lot of you people are envious, greedy, negative, dirty, disgusting, devils, and many other things. So I could really care less, you know? You had a point in my life when people that you loved hurt you, that it hurt me. Now, I don't even have no emotion towards it, or even no emotion towards them. And to me, it's not like they're living. Okay, because me, once I don't accept you in this universe no more, I don't care who is there or what you say or who is around. But once I don't like you no more, and once I don't want to be around you no more, and I don't think that you are capable of having understanding or even common sense as a human, I stay away from you. And best thing for you to do is stay away from me too. And I watch people, they talk about how they're true. You can't tell people how you true. You gotta live it. And one thing I seen in my lifetime, people that say they this and that. People that say they don't lie. People that say they got a good heart. People know me. People know that. People know this and that about you. Like, I'm gonna say this, man, and I'm leaving God out of this. All you little dirty soul people, with me, ain't no God could save you, okay? Because I'm gonna burn your skin. I'm gonna burn your skin. I don't play with false prophets. Don't matter what religion you in, or don't matter what religion you may represent. Everybody get hit. Don't go around thinking that you untouchable. Don't go around thinking that you can't get a reality check. Don't do it. Shit, that's just $1. And I'll tell you something that religious people won't tell you, or some. The more you don't believe in humans is the more you believe in God. The more you stop believing in humans is the more you should believe in God. The more you get away from loving the physical is the more you're going to get to understand the spiritual. And I'm gonna say this for a lot of people out there. God is great and God is good. You know, like God ain't got nothing to do with bragging on nobody. And when I watch how a lot of people in this world, I don't care about calling people religion fake. I don't care about calling people fake because fake is fake, and real is real. And it's okay for people to say, "Oh, this and that," right? But it's okay for this world to fake on religion, and you could believe in your religion all you want to, hard body, but it's okay for you to down somebody else's beliefs. No. And this is why I say human beings will like to play games of saying, oh, you believe in that. They believe in Buddha. They believe in Allah. With y'all believing in all these different names, right? It's not about me saying that God ain't real, but it's about the world, the general public. What is the general public believing in if you could have Buddha, Allah, Jah, Krishna, Christ? See, it ain't about the name, but it's about the playing that human beings like to do. And me, I don't care what it is. I like to call human beings out on the nonsense, and I like to keep on debunking the nonsense in world history because for all the people that say they believe in God or believe in a God, you surely disrespecting God every day of how you act towards your brother and sister around this world. You surely disrespect what you say you love every day. You know? And to me, I laugh at it, but it's a sad laugh, you know, because how pure could your words be of saying you believe in God when can't show it? I don't care. Bless up, Proud. Bless up. Bless up, brother. And let me tell you something, Proud. You picked some good songs last night. You picked some good songs. Even though I was not typing too much, I still had you on the Bluetooth speaker. And I'm going to tell you something, Proud. I'm glad you're here. Let me tell you something, Proud. I'm going to be for real with you, like always. I had you on my other phone first, right? And then I had you on the earpiece. And then I said, you know what? Let me put him on the Bluetooth speaker, right? I put you on the Bluetooth speaker, and I'ma just say this, yo. Different people was around me, and they was like, brother playing some music, you know? And it ain't about what you play for people to, like, love, but it's when you go strictly, like, just, and you said that you had made the list already, right? But I'ma say this. You did a good job last night, and I think I came on a little bit late, but you did a good job. And whether you want to set the playlist up before Friday and Monday, you do you, brother, because I'm going to say this. When I seen certain people that I was in front of yesterday and actually bouncing to the music, I'm like, I said, damn, you don't even really listen to music. And I was around people that I would say don't even really listen to hip hop and R&B, you know? And this is why I always say music carries a vibration where you don't need to understand what these people are. All you need to really get is that joint hitting your heart. And music is so powerful. When it hits people's heart and soul, there's no controlling it. Okay? I don't like, because it was like the other day, I seen a lady on Facebook and she like Wu-Tang and Tupac, and like, I'm not surprised. You know, when people be looking at how they see some Asian people that like rap or reggae, stop being surprised. Okay? Like, And this is what I was just saying before you came on. Like, God made all of these things universal for human beings. When humans want to say, like, yo, even though melanated people control, like, sorry, I am so sorry, God, please forgive me. Even though melanated people created reggae, reggae is not for black people. Reggae is for the world. Conscious reggae is for the world. Hip-hop, yes, it was made by blacks and Latins, but hip-hop music was made for the world. Hip-hop elements and activities was made for the world. Okay? Music is not something that you could fit in a box, because soon as you ever try to put music in a box, that vibration would always leak out that box, and that vibration will break that box. So, I'm going to tell you this. Keep on going, my brother. Whether you want to rock a Michael Jackson concert, whether you want to rock Anita Baker, whether you want to play Travis Scott, whether you want to rock Kanye, whether you want to play Stupid Young, whether you want to play Snoop Dogg, whether you want to play Mark Anthony, J-Lo, Ashanti, whoever, B.B. King, CeCe Winans, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, whoever, you keep on rocking, bro, cause one thing a DJ does in this world, in world history, you touch people's heart and souls, okay? A DJ just don't play music. A DJ touches people, especially the people that comes to the party. And they come to the, like, people forgot, right? You go to a party to party. Okay? You don't go, they go, that's why I don't get when I see nowadays with certain rappers, R&B singers, celebrities, y'all go to a party to stand on the wall. Y'all go to a party to go in VIP room. I can't even dance, right? But I ain't gonna go in a club, you feel me? And stand on the wall unless I'm burning, you know, smoking, or I'm drinking a Guinness or a Heineken. That's the only reason why I'm gonna stand on the wall. And even then, if a good song come on, I'm going to bounce to the song that I like. I'm going to bounce to the vibration I like. Me, I never got, well, I do get it. Let me stop playing with myself, God, and y'all. When men go to the club, right? 12 deep, 20 deep, 30 deep, and they try to act like they gang, no, I'm sorry. They're down with the LGBT community, because you have 20 men or 12 men or 5 men. Y'all going to the club, right? And there's a whole bunch of women in the club. And nowadays, y'all don't even dance with the women. But y'all talk about y'all came here with gang. Y'all came here with, like, yo, this is why I'm going to always say, the so-called streets made a lot of LGBT men, okay? Because y'all thought it was okay to diss on dudes that went to school, right? But let me tell you this, and I'm going to keep on saying it, because it's, y'all really look up to punks and cowards that y'all call gangster. Y'all call thugs. Yo, I'm going to be honest, man. 65% of them dudes that y'all think is thugs in the rap game, it's girls. Okay? It's girls, and I mean girls for real, as in females. Y'all think that somebody is a tough guy or a tough girl just because they may have a gun or just because they may speak? And let me tell you this, a lot of the so-called black men and Latino men and black women and Latino women in our communities that act like they're gangsters or rappers or whatever, I'm going to say this. They don't care for our people, and you could die every day. I just said this in my first live that I made for the day. It's so funny, right? How celebrities, and including basketball players too, football players, baseball players, they want poor people to spend their money, right? And this is why I tell you, I hate celebrities, I hate superstars. And Pride, I love you, my brother, but me, I'm going to use the word hate, because I know where I'm driving that word hate to. Okay, because I'm not going to say, oh, that's a strong word. No, I hate celebrities and superstars that think they better than the common man and woman that came from the hood, the same place you came from. You poor people spend your money on celebrities, right? And them same stupid celebrities look down on you. Why is it that poor people spend their money on rich people and rich people never really spend their money on poor people? But y'all people want to talk about y'all believe in God. Like, stop the nonsense. And this is why I always say fake religion. And if you got a problem with it, talk educational to me or talk intelligent to me. But if you think you could just get mad with stupidity, I don't need to listen to you. Because that's the only thing you're going to do is get mad with stupidity. But you can't get mad and get intelligent. I've been told people, I can speak any which way you want. What you want to speak? Like Big Pun said, what you want? What you want to go? Salsa? You know, you want like how do you want it? Nice or good? And to me, you don't need no good. You need people to give it to you straight cut and razor, because y'all people in this world think that it's okay to disrespect people because they are humble, positive. And you thinking that soon as you defend yourself, just like Proud always say, they think when somebody is speaking truth or somebody is talking, they call it complaining. No, it's not complaining. Only people that don't have common sense will say people are speaking truth. Is complaining, because people like that, right? They are bad-minded and they work for the devil and they clock in 9 to 5 for the devil every day. Because somebody that has common sense, right? And somebody that has intelligence, they're not going to tell you you're complaining when they hear truth. They're going to be overstanding and understanding. They're going to understand before they do the over and the under to let you speak. Okay? Understanding somebody is the first part. And you could put understanding, overstanding, and understanding. But that will help you out along in life when you're talking to people. But when people never want to overstand or understand or understand you, those are dangerous people for you to be around, and you better always watch out for people that don't want to listen clear. And that goes the same thing for you too, because you know if you're not listening to somebody in your mind and they're talking to you, you know what you're thinking. And it's the same way. You know, I don't like when people like to front in this world about they don't like this, they don't like that, but they still do it. They still have it around them. Like, nah. Don't. Stop. You know, like, stop it. Hold up. Hold on. The chat vibes was lit. I know how to turn the energy up. Nah. Okay. They not better than us regardless of their money. That status don't mean shit. They use that bread to downplay where they come from. That's why most of them claim places they are not from or never been. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Yeah, and I'm not going to even say let me be nice, because I don't even know how to be nice to stupid people with that nonsense. No, like me, I don't like it because I'm not going to even say that. Money made our people forget who they really are. And when you see, they would ask the question of, oh, why black men like to kill black men in the hood? Like, do you think you're gonna be stupid and ask that question before you really know the answer? And a lot of black people in the hood, do you really wanna just keep on playing, right, and asking that question, or keep on saying black on black crime? You want to keep on doing that of not knowing what's the solution, or no? Like, let me say this, because a lot of people ain't like when I said this, but I said it, and I'm going to keep on saying it, and I'm going to keep on saying it. The black man in America and around this world will continue to keep on killing each other, because how people love life. A lot of black men in America and around this world, killing is something good to them. And y'all are playing retarded and acting like you don't understand that's what it is. And to me, I get angry because people will say, oh my gosh, that sounds crazy. No, it don't sound crazy. It sounds actually illiterate for you to not understand that some people in this world actually love killing. What's wrong with you? What you think? What you think? Like, come on. And this is how, I don't know. And people always want to be, they from this place, they from that place. You ain't see death unless you don't even want to be around it no more, okay? That's why I explained to that brother, oh, young fans of none, supporters of some. Them rich folks don't care nothing about us. That's why they act embarrassed to talk about where they came from. Bless up, and shout out to you, Young. And shout out to everybody that was in the building yesterday in PMC Club PMC, excuse me. No, like, to me, if Young want to be a, what I would say, he's a young aspiring rapper right now. Just watch out, and best thing, work on his music and don't look up to too much of them guys that's younger than you and older than you, and just always believe in yourself, because you have a lot of these people that been in the rap game and the music industry for a long time, and people like Young and many other young rappers and people that got talent, they would hold your talent back because they would probably think you want to outshine them. And me, I wish Young the best, if you want to, like I wish him the best. And any young person that want to make music, don't ever make these people that been in the music game longer than you try to steer your career, because it's sad when you see how people would try to control your career in music, in basketball, football, baseball, in movies, because and I'm gonna tell you like this, Pride. I remember what it was, probably 2 weeks ago, and you always say this sometimes in your life, and you're correct, but, and I forgot how you started to say it, but you was like, yo, we always complaining about certain TV shows. Why don't you make your own, And I was there like, yo, I remember from 13 to 14 years old, I started writing short stories and short movies. And I remember the other day, I was there saying, you know what? Proud is right. Some people be complaining about a lot of TV shows, whether it's Stars, HBO, and TBS, USA, Basic TV, or even the applications that we got, Roku, complain about the different TV shows that they don't like. And I was like, yo, if you do have a problem, yeah, write your own, or get a partner and y'all partner up, and you got a co-writer and you got another co-writer, and y'all could write a short movie, or y'all could write a short TV show, or you could even, like, you can get, let me see, what's the joint called? Hold on. You can start writing your own pilot, your short pilot. And I was there thinking 2 days ago, I said, you know what? I have a story that I wrote, let me see. Like, the beginning of the story is like, from Cali to New York and Jersey, but like, many, I would say like this, from Cali to New Jersey to New York, right? That's just the face name. But when I really think about it, I think about changing the name, because that was the first phase of it. But phase 2 is the meeting, and phase 3 is the setup, and phase 4 is the start. So I could always change like phase 1, but when I write short stories and short movies, when it comes to 3, 2, and 4, and if I add extras on, I like to keep those like that. And many of times, I'm going to be honest to you in my writing, I like the first page and like I will say the heading and the name of the first chapter, or even I will say like this, of how we watch episodes, right? I would say the first episode, right? I always change the name 3 times or maybe even more, because I'm gonna be honest to you, coming from like the name of that short story, coming from California to New York to New Jersey, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like the name so far. And that was the first name that I came up with when I was starting to think, and I was like sitting down on my bed, and when I picked up the pen, to be honest with you, coming from California to New York to New Jersey, that was the first thing I wrote down. And then I start thinking about the first character that I thought about, or the first actor and actress I thought about was Red and Lisa and Jimmy and Redbone, and Neckbone too, But and then I had 3 places so far. That was the 3 places that's my backdrop. Even though I want to use the whole earth, I'm using California first, I'm using New York, and then I'm using New Jersey. And I will give you like a little preview. The preview is like a dude that's 21 years old, and he grew up in California, but he got sick of California, and he called his cousin in New Jersey one day, and he told him that he want to move to the East Coast. And his cousin asked him, do you really want to do that? So he's actually telling his cousin, like, yo, I'm not calling you all the way from the East Coast for nothing. He said, yes, I really want to do. So next few days, boom, Reds is on his way to New Jersey. But the first week that Reds was in New Jersey, he got robbed by a lady named Lisa, and he just thought it was a regular lady, but he didn't know Lisa. She was one of the top ladies in New York and New Jersey. So Red went home to his cousin Neckbone and told his cousin Neckbone, yo, I just got sticked up by this lady. So right away, Neckbone called Jimmy, because Jimmy was the mobster from Jersey to New York to California. And even though Jimmy and Reds didn't know each other, Jimmy knew that Reds was coming to New York and New Jersey. And he didn't tell Neckbone this, but Neckbone set up a meeting between Lisa, Neckbone, and Jimmy and Reds, because he didn't want the money back, but he felt disrespected. Because even though he wasn't gangbanging so hard in California, he was a little bit part of the gang circuit in California. And he didn't care about the money. He cared more about the disrespect that a female robbed him when he went to the store one day in Jersey. And I'm going to put it to you like this. Like, I'm not going... Like, this is the whole... I'm paraphrasing everything. And to be honest with you, this is why I look up to people as in writing, as in Quentin Tarantino, John Singleton, like Ice Cube, Martin Scorsese. Like, because when I was a kid, growing up in the Bronx in Brooklyn, this, like, our real life was my backstory of many stories that I wrote. I didn't like, yes, I used my imagination, but I used my imagination in my real life. So this story that I'm making is based on real life. It's based on a true story. So I'm not gonna put people real names in it because, like, I would just say I would like people to stay free. Okay, and let me finish giving you the setup where Lisa, she don't really care less about who she just robbed because, as I said, Reds didn't care about the money. She cared about the money, but she didn't care who she robbed. Jimmy was trying to settle the whole situation, but this is a secret thing. Jimmy wanted some money too, and not from Lisa, but he wanted some money because he knew that Reds didn't come all the way from California to New Jersey and New York just to live. So in part 2 or in episode 2, it's the setup where you have Neckbone, Redbone, Lisa, Jimmy, and Reds. They are all going to be in New York and they're going to have a meeting. But I'm going to tell you this. Lisa and Jimmy, they're going to find a way to get Reds out of America. Because they don't want him on the East Coast. And that will be in part 2 and called The Meeting. Oh no, trust me, my brother. I'm not going to, like I said the other day in one of my lives, I have friends that I went to high school with and junior high school with just a few years ago. Some of them are coming home, and I don't say that to glorify nothing, but I say that I want them to stay home. You can't help every brother and sister that enter inside the jail system, but you know what? You could try. And with your trying, and whether you want to try to get your brother or sister to stay out of the street, you're not gonna get them out of the street by saying like, yo, Kim, stay out of the street. No, it's gonna be a slow process, day by day. Because as I said, if you think some people in the streets don't love killing each other, you gotta be kidding me. Okay? Oh, well, to be honest with you, I am thinking of a screenplay about Rastas and not pilot yet though. No, let me tell you, now I love the writing part, but to be honest with you, I like the imagination part first, and there's one person I remember my 9th grade English teacher / social studies teacher. He was hold on 1 minute. Yo! Huh? Alright. Yeah, I remember my 9th grade teacher. Social studies and English. I used to think that he was being hard on me. I ain't gonna lie to you, cause he used to give us, telling us to write an essay, and I'm gonna be honest to you. 9th grade is where I learned officially how to write a good essay from him. My mother and brother, they always did try to teach me how to write an essay good, but I'm gonna say when he showed me how to do an essay, my mother and brother, they did always teach me the format first. My mother and brother taught me 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 was beginning, middle, and end. And then I remember my brother gave it to me. He was like, yo, you got the start, you got your belly, and you got your conclusion. So I remember, like, that's how I like, well, when you see me, I do many things. I do 1 2 3 4, you know, and doing 1 2 3 4, I do 4 because I was born on February 4th, and I always like to use the 4 because it's strong and it's always foundation building, you know. Holding On to Jah was a great film too. Oh, no, Rockers? What you mean, bro? I got Rockers DVD, Country. Oh, yeah, bro. I got Countryman on DVD, and what is it? I got Rockers on bootleg. And I got, to be honest, yeah, I got Rockers on bootleg. But I think my brother, I think he got Countryman on VHS. But the last time I seen my Rockers on bootleg, I think it was like 2 months ago. You know, the DVD. Nah. You gotta... Damn, he brought me back. And I remember, because we had lost our VHS. We had Rockers and Countryman on VHS, but I remember when we moved out of the Bronx and to move to Brooklyn, my brother was like, we got to get them on DVD now, because my brother, the type, he's not really into the modern world, but if, like, say we had, like, Roger Rabbit, right, on VHS, and we lost the tape, he'll be like, bro, we got to get it on Blu-ray or DVD, you know? And that's just how he is, because I'm going to say like this. I'm the type, I will read the book, my brother will watch the movie, but at the end of the day, we still know it's a story, you know? Because don't matter how you want to twist it around, a movie is a story that's written in motion, you know? The actors and actresses are playing out, you know? And that's where I would say every day that I watch different movies or get a chance to watch a movie, you learn. You learn. You learn. Hold on, I'm here. Just packing away some stuff at work. About to leave work. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Hold on. Whew. Yeah. Damn, what? I'm gonna be honest to you too. You know, one of my favorite, like, I don't care what nobody say. Like, Shottaz is one of the most, like, a lot of people don't rate it that much because it's like American / Caribbean film how they did it, but Shottaz is like how you see it. That movie is based on a true, like, they wouldn't say it, but that happened every day in the Caribbean islands to America, you know, and that's why I don't play with people that want to talk about Caribbean people. You don't know how hard it is for Caribbean people, but we still don't complain. Okay? And those that have it easy, you have it easy, but you still complain. Okay? Like, so that's why I don't I'm so sorry. I don't play with people disrespecting Caribbean culture, because Caribbean people don't need to copy off of nobody culture. And a lot of black Americans like to say that, but I'm going to always say I will put y'all in y'all place. Okay? Because one thing is, Caribbean people have more manners and respect than black Americans. Black Americans, and that's not to say that Caribbean people don't kill each other and do street things, but Caribbean people really understand family and love, community. For real. Y'all be wanting to kill each other, and then y'all killing each other for what? For what? What are you getting? What you got? Nothing. At the end of the day, your community down. And let me tell you like this, how you call politicians dirty in America, politicians are way dirtier in the Caribbean islands, okay? And I'm talking about Puerto Rico, Jamaica, okay? So when you want to diss on a person like Trump, you don't know what Caribbean people go through, okay? When they have to deal with politics. For real. Know how much time people can't get no water in the Caribbean islands, but they still surviving and not complaining? But you people up here got free water, free stuff, free this, free that, but complain every day about everything. Come on, man. And I don't care how people take this. And that's how to show you a punk and you're ungrateful. Many black Americans. For real. I don't care. I'm not one of those to sugarcoat it with no black Americans to think that you gonna say whatever you want. No. No. For real. Because I don't deal with... I deal with sense. I don't deal with nonsense. Oh, shoot. I was about to say, where is my keys? Coming right now, Danny. Huh? You can't see? Oh, don't worry. Swim. Just don't bump into the shark. Okay, let me lock the back door. If you fall, just scream and I'll come and pick you up. Yeah. Ooh. Hold up. Hold on 1 minute, crowd. Okay. Cup. Coffee. You didn't fall, right? You didn't. I'm gonna tell you like this, Danny. I don't remember the last time I picked a grown man off the floor if he fell. But if you fall, I gotta pick you up.
It's dark in there.
Danny, you ever walked around your house
No,
with your eyes closed?
No.
No?
No.
No? You never did that when you was a kid?
No. Maybe when I was a kid then.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Huh? It's okay. Let's see what we got.
Okay. Time to get in line.
Yeah. Let me just make sure I lock the back door. Hold on, I gotta go get me some oranges from, well, I gotta wash my coffee cup out. Hold on. I'm still here, proud. I'm sorry, I'm just leaving the job. Gotta make sure I lock everything up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, but, whew. Ain't nothing like finishing the work day. For real. It's a good. Oh, nah, I don't like to, I don't like to be all disrespectful. Okay, I got everything. Hold on. Ooh. Oops. Okay. Now I'm just making sure, because I gotta lock up the place when after all the co-workers leave, but one of my co-workers was the last one to leave. So, I don't know, I told him, because I set off all the lights and he said he couldn't see, so I told him if he fall, I'll pick him up. But I told him I can't remember the last time I picked a grown man up off the floor, but I'll still help him off the floor. Yeah, everything is locked. Yeah. Oh no, he make me laugh sometimes. He complains so much sometimes, but as I say, man, I don't like when people complain but talk about they believe in God. Why should you complain if you believe in God? I just don't, like, oh, look. See you later, bro. Yeah. Nah, I just like how you said one of your pet peeves is people giving, like, because it don't make no sense to me either. How would you give a like on social media and then take it back? Like, I call it, like, you call it stupid and many other things. Me, I call it stupid, and it's just illiterate and it's childish. It's like, me, my pet peeve is, I don't really like people asking me the same question over and over when I just gave you the answer once. And once I answer you one time and you keep on that, like, I'm sorry, because you're going to have to deal with delving, and I laugh at people so much where they be like, oh my gosh, this and that. Like, nah. I don't like when people ask the same question over and over and I done gave you an answer. If you want me to give you another answer, like, I don't know, I got a lot of little pet peeves. I don't like when people lie with just to lie or even lying. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, and to me, to be honest with you, lying, it's a sense of unintelligence as well, but some people don't look at it like that, Lying is very, because in our community, people think that lying, you're supposed to lie, because, we lied to the police and this and that. Like, yo, the stupid hood, right, made you think that you were always supposed to be a victim to these people. I'm sorry. We ain't no victims, No victims. Like Marlo said, I wasn't made to play the son role. We ain't made to play the victim role. I want to be a victim. What? And I'm going to say this too. You know what, to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. I remember my first pet peeve that I was just about to say, but walking across the street, I'm going to be real with you. I lost my train of thought. Hey, little bro. I can't complain. I'm happy. I'm off. And I did lose my train of thought, and I don't like that. I don't like when I forget what I was about to say, because I was just walking off the parking lot, and okay, well, I'm in the store right now. I'm gonna buy me some oranges, and, well, I got bread at home. Quick little pickup, some oranges and deodorant, and then I'm out. Yeah. Everything else I got it. Well, let me shut up. Okay. Yeah, I got soap at the crib. Yeah, let me just take my butt home after I finish. Yeah. It, and thank you for being in the building, Proud. You know, much respect, my brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, that would be somebody buying this, little bro. Okay, I'll put it back. Okay, let me pay for my stuff and head home. Excuse me, look, bro. Thank you, bro. You have a great day, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Nah. That's the local store. Even though, to be honest with you, every local store I call a corner store. I ain't gonna call it a bodega, you know, or the deli like in New York, but I don't know. I'll be honest to you to say too why I call almost not the supermarkets and Sam's Club, you know, because those are, you can't call the supermarkets and Sam's Club no like store, but you know, we'll call it as we say the supermarket or a big mark, you know. But no, I get used to calling many stores like, you know, 7-Eleven, Sunoco's, like call them a corner store, you know, and they don't even gotta be in the on the corner or in the corner, like. And that's just certain stuff that's embedded in a lot of us, you know. Huh. Ooh. Okay, hold on. You want it to be one way, but it's the other way. One of my favorite Marlo quotes. Let me tell you, and I'm glad you said that too. You know how you always say that in your lives when we talk about superheroes and stuff? I'm gonna say this, because a lot of people, Marlo is probably one of my favorite TV show, I will say, characters made, because, and the reason why I like Marlo, because he reminds me of somebody that I grew up with, you know, and even though that's TV, and you know, they said the real Marlo was worse, but, and there's a lot of, like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, name themselves Marlo after Marlo from the TV show, because even, you know, young Marlo from, you know, Atlanta, you know, they used to chill with the baby, you know, and not gonna put his business out there, but if you know, you know, you know, you know young Marlo from Atlanta, Georgia, you know, and don't matter, he ain't had to pass away like how he did, but you judge a lot of people in the streets on badness, but I'm gonna say this, yo. Even though he was probably, and he was in the wrong direction, you know, Marlo had a good heart and a good soul, you know, because it's very easy for people to judge people that's in the streets and say, oh, she messed up, oh, he messed up. As I said, you don't know about the people that really had to go out there, okay? You don't know about the people that had to go out there that don't really want to be out there. But you know what? They survived out there. You know? Streets ain't no place to glorify. No medals or nothing. Hold on. Yeah, the streets ain't nothing to glorify. You know how much. See, a lot of people say, oh, I miss my homie. Well, I can tell you, I missed a lot of males and females in my lifetime, family and friends that died because of street life. And have some people will say, oh, yeah, you ain't gonna cry around certain people because it is what it is. But let me tell you, those are real tears. And me, I don't care about people caring about your tears because I'm like, yo, it's like I was telling my mother the other day about, well, she know about Calvin because that was, wouldn't say we was best friends. We was more like his big sister and my girl cousin was best friends. So it's like we automatically became brothers and cousins in the hood, you know. And then when we went to school, I remember this dude told me he gonna make me eat a book. So as I told, you know, my mother the story the other day, as I said, you know, when people ask, you remember in Italian Job when the lady, she asked Mark Wahlberg, like, and what's your special traits, how you became you, right? As I said, how Mark Wahlberg did what he did as a little kid, that became me in somewhat real life of, I don't care to knuckle up with anybody, but if you really think that your ignorance is smarter than my mind, I'm going to show you how my mind will always override your ignorance. So I remember that day, dude told me he was going to make me eat my notebook. I went and told the girl and the boy, I said, go find Calvin and tell him to come to my class. But before that, I told them to tell him and make sure they tell him this way. Somebody said he's going to punch Delvin in the face. So, this is 198 elementary school, you know, where 198, they should have, what's that joint you always talk about, infamous and famous? I'll say in 198, I'm kind of infamous and famous in that school in the 90s. And trust me, being suspended and getting kicked out the school. I remember I told my brother they should have a poster or they should have my name on the front of the school. But he said, boy, please. He said, you know, and the principal, Mr. Ortiz, you know, and the dean, Mrs. Jackson, how Mr. Clark was on Lean on Me, that's how Miss Jackson was to every single student. Miss Jackson, she had long nails, okay? And Miss Jackson used to scare students more than their parents did, okay? Let me say that again. Miss Jackson used to scare students more than their parents did. Students were scared of Miss Jackson more than their parents. Okay? More than... And A lot of people, yo, let me tell you, some people used to put their heads down in the gym or the auditorium when Miss Jackson was talking to them. And she used to tell you, you're going to stay right here until your mother or your father come. And you think you going anywhere? Miss Jackson will grab you back. No matter how tough you think you is, and you could, like she used to say back then, this generation is so soft where she used to tell you, you could go call your so-called mother and father. They gonna tell you to get me. Okay? And it's so funny how like a lot of people could call these kids in this generation problems, but nah, they need tough love. They need people that's gonna really get down on them. And I remember, I'm gonna get back to that too. But I remember when the boy and girl, they went and got Calvin. Calvin came back to my class. And I remember he wasn't even supposed to be in that class. And I remember when he came into class and he said, who said they gonna punch Delvin in the face? And I tell people this, a lot of people, they must don't understand this, but I'm gonna say it again. I am like how they said on The Departed. Yes, people could touch me, right? But it's the consequences that you will have to pay for touching my physical body. You feel me? And that's not being no tough guy. That's not being no gangster. That's not being no thug. I remember I told this dude, I said, yo, I said, how you think you gonna hurt me, right? I said, what you think the people that do that really love me to you? And like, people don't like that part because, yeah, you could do whatever you want. You could touch people. You could try to touch somebody. But the thing is, right? I remember the dude, you know, he was Calvin Height, right? And as I said, I don't care about knuckling up with anybody. And I never been scared to knuckle up with anybody because I have a brother and I have a lot of boy cousins, and I have one uncle that's probably the best uncle in the world next to me. That, how they say, they don't play about me. You know, and it's not my fault that people in your family or your friends or your community or who you love don't love you like that. But as one of my cousins once said, Delvin probably little, and he probably a trash talker and all that, but that's our trash talker, and that's our little piece of shit. Because I remember one time, big dude said, he said, I'm going to have Delvin up, man. He always talking trash to me. I don't like how he be talking to me. So I remember my big cousin told him, he said, Delvin could do whatever he wants. He said, you put your hands on that little boy. He said, I'm going to put my hands on you. And I remember the dude, he attempted to touch me. And his attempt to touch me, he ended up having 2 black eyes and 1 broken nose. And I remember after that, see, this one times where people respected fist fights and respected what you said. That same person, nah, he wasn't no punk, but you know how when the little brother or the little cousin like to talk a little extra mess, I was one of those. I talk a little extra mess, but as I always say, I'm not, like I wasn't that type to talk like how some people do nowadays and can't even back it up. Or how some people talk and never taste their own blood. Like we used to say, blood in your mouth. You know? Because if you could talk so nice, and I don't mean nice as in N-I-C-E. I mean talking greasy. If you could talk so nice, trust me, somebody gonna fix you a birthday present. And you gonna be surprised, okay? So, and that's one thing, you know, like, I tell you like this. My mom's always taught me that. Don't talk trash to nobody if you can't be able to defend on what they gonna give you. You know, because a lot of people, they think it's okay to talk trash to people, right? And they don't know what somebody gonna fire at them. Nah. The fastest you talk is the fastest somebody will punch you in your mouth or your eye or your face or wherever, or even sweep you on the floor. And some people, and this is one thing I love all my martial artists around the world, excuse me for that, you know, I'm not gonna disrespect you for the fun of it, because I remember I thought it was okay to take a certain combat fighting and to do it to people. And I remember Mr. Lewis told me the first time I entered the gym, he said, "Why are you coming here?" Well, I said, "I want to learn some stuff." But I'm going to tell you this, I had to tell Mr. Lewis the truth. I told Mr. Lewis I came in his class to actually kick people butt more, or to fight people. And I had to, that was one of the things as a little kid, how you admit stuff, that was one of the things that I admitted, and it made my heart feel clean, because I lied to him for like 2 weeks. And I remember when he told me, he was like, "Something up, Jermaine. Something is up." He said, "Why did you come to my class?" And I told him, "Oh, I want to learn. And I remember he was serious, and he was telling me, this is not something that you play with, you know? And as a kid, I could understand him, but I wasn't thinking to understand him, and then I wasn't listening to understand him. I was listening so he could keep on talking, but he could shut up quick as he talk. And when I told him the truth, I felt free. I felt okay. I felt good. And I remember he told me, he said, "It's okay." He told me, he said, "It's not that you told me the truth." He said, "But I knew the truth." He said, "I just wanted you to get it out." You know? Okay. Now, let me tell you. Like, get back to the Calvin, because I ain't forget that. I remember Calvin came to my class, you know, and he told the dude, he said, "You want to fight Delvin?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That little N talk too much shit." So, Calvin told him one of the famous things that I tell everybody that got a problem with my brother, that me and my brother came out of the same woman and got the same father. If you got beef with my brother, I always tell people in world history, I don't care who you is, you ain't got a problem with him no more. Your problem is with me, his little brother. Because if you ever think in this lifetime that you gonna have a problem with my brother, that's F you a million times over and over. Because I don't just love my brother because that's my big brother. I love my brother, and that can never be defined. So if you think that you hate him or you have a problem with him, trust me, you're going to deal with something that you've never seen in your lifetime. Okay? And that goes for anybody. Okay? Even to the point where, like, anybody. Even my mother and father know how me and my brother get down with each other. We don't play. And that's how I think every siblings, you know, I said sibling, but that's how I think all siblings should be. And this is why I always don't, like, yeah, of course you're going to argue. Of course. But if you don't have that common ground, let me say that, though, and get back to it. Let me finish this Calvin part. Calvin came to my class, told the dude, he said, "Yo, at 3 o'clock, I'm going to see you in the yard." And still till this day, that yard is still there on Union Avenue between Home Street and 168, okay? That yard is still there. They just painted and changed the playground, but that playground is still there till this day. Because up to Sunday, I drove past it, okay? And this is why when I made the live the other day, and I said that don't matter where you're from in this world, you love your block. You love your community. You love where you from. You love that place that your moms and pops brought you home from the hospital and they put you in that crib or that bed or in their bed. Wherever outside is in that place, that's your neighborhood. That's your love. And you can't take that away from people. No matter if it's China, Puerto Rico, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, Jamaica, wherever. People love where they're from. And if you don't love where you're from, that's your problem to deal with. Now, at 3 o'clock, that used to be the fighting area. How they have the wrestling ring in wrestling at ECW, WCW, or WWF. In 198, that's where everybody, if you ain't fighting in the big yard or the upper yard, the kids will fight in the little park. And when you fight in the little park, that was the Terror Dome. Because as soon as like 50 kids go in that park, everybody get into a circle, it ain't no stopping. And I remember that day. Calvin told me, he was like, yo, he said, Delvin, you want to fight him? I said, I don't care. I said, but you ain't going to fight him? He said, bro, I'll beat the living crap out of him if you tell me yes or if you want to fight. I said, let me fight him. So I remember we did going a little bit. And I ain't going to front. He was giving it to me, you know? He was giving it to me, but I was like a Toro Gotti. You better beat the blood out of me because I'm going, every time I fall or slip, I'm going to get back up. You feel me? It's not like, because as I said, like, if you grew up with my uncle and my uncles and my big brother and my boy cousins, and in this family, you better be that person to take teasing, and you better learn how to fight. Okay? And this is not where people are peer pressuring you or bullying you. This is how this family roll. Because we tease each other and we beat each other up as kids. That's our love. Okay, like I said in the beginning of one of my lives that I made like last week. Me and my cousin Chunky, we can't see each other without fighting. And that's no hate against each other. That's our love. Because till this day and forevermore, that's my cousin that'll walk into heaven and hell with me, and we will walk back on the earth. And we good. Okay, it's no ifs, ands, or buts, or no maybes. See, some people be motivated by certain things, right? But if you ain't disciplined enough, that motivation don't matter. I remember Kelvin seen me drop 2 times and he was like, "Nah." He said, "Delvin," he said, "stand on the side." So I remember dude said, "Okay." And everybody there screaming. So I remember I had a little blood on my lip. So the girl told me, she was like, "Your lip bleeding, Delvin." And I said, "Oh my gosh." So I remember Calvin there banging him out, beating him up. So, I believe in honor and fighting. And some people don't believe in jumping somebody, I don't, because I don't care what you think you are, but I know what I am. I know what I am, and I know the destruction I could bring. And people that be screaming, shouting, going crazy, this and that, pulling up their pants, shuffling their feet, doing all of that stuff. I remember one time I did that to my cousin. I was 6 years old. And I think he knocked me down more than 6 times, So, the hypeness don't matter. What you have inside of you is what you have inside of you. And that will take care of everything. Now, I remember that day. He was on the floor, and Everybody let him get up after the fight was done. And I remember Calvin looked in my face. He said, "You better go wash your face off before your mother see that before you get upstairs." I remember wash my face off and everything. Clean my clothes off the best way I could. Calvin walked me home because I lived 1 block away from 198. Just down the block. And I remember we looked at each other and he told me, he said, "I should beat you up." And I told him, I said, "No, you shouldn't." I said, "No, you shouldn't." And he laughed and he went around the corner on home because I lived on 168 in Prospect. He lived around the corner on 165th in Union. And like I told my moms the other day, like, that was one of my brothers that I really do miss because I remember going to his funeral and I remember when I seen his sister because his mom used to work in our school in 198 in the lunchroom. And his mom used to look out for all of us little kids, from around the area. And even if you didn't live around the area, his mom's made sure that kids ate in the morning, made sure they ate in the afternoon. She knew the kids that wasn't getting fed at home. And I remember I was there telling my brother last week, like, I remember taking people milk and stuff, because when I was a kid, how could I put it? I used to drink milk like water. I used to drink more milk than water when I was a kid, actually, and to be honest with you, I think I used to actually, like, that used to actually be my number one drink more than a lot of, like, drinks, many times. Like, mom's buy that gallon. Sometimes I remember, like, pouring some ice in the cup and just pour that cup up with milk. And that's how a lot of things change, because your taste buds, they don't go wrong. They don't go wrong. And I have a strong, like, tongue where my taste buds, it could taste stuff very well. And from something changing or something staying the same to where I'm not gonna say that I could eat pepper. No. You go over a 5 or a 6 with pepper, I'm done. I'm done. Okay? How they say, leave it at mild or medium. Yes, you leave it at mild and medium for me. Soon as you go over that 5.5 and you get to that 6.1, I ain't touching peppers like that. I'm not touching peppers like that. And nowadays, when you drink the regular cow milk, I know for a fact, and I know I'm not the only one, but that don't taste the same from the 80s or the 90s. That is not the same red top milk like I used to call it. That's not red top, okay? And I know a lot of people used to buy, what is it, the what's that joint called, the 1%. But me, I just know for a fact that joint ain't the same. You know? R.I.P. Calvin too, man. I love you, bro. For real. That's why I tell people, like, a lot of things that people glorify in our so-called communities, it ain't meant to be glorified, and it ain't meant to be something that we parade around, because I can remember one of the last walks that me and Calvin had of walking down Prospect Avenue, and I remember telling him, I said, damn, bro, you remember when we was kids, our moms and them had to walk us around and we kids? I said, look at us now. We walking in our old neighborhood and we adults, you know? I said, like, we big. And he was like, yeah. And like me, it don't matter where I'm at in this world. It don't matter where I walk in this world. I would always remember Prospect Avenue. And I would always love Prospect Avenue because some people may dislike where they from, but I'm gonna tell you, I love where I'm from. From the ladies on the corner back in the days, from the men on the corner, from when it was lottery for real, when Pick 5 and them was really popping, Pick 4 was really popping, when orange slips was going, you know, and a lot of stuff just changed, you know. I remember you could really feed your family off of lotto. Nowadays, they monopolize the lotto so much where keep on spending your money. I like when Mano said he would fix Trinidad James' teeth and Vlad was like, you're a dentist now, and Mano is like, I can be. Yeah, you know, like, God please help me. Yeah, I ain't gonna say that one on the internet, but nah, you know where he be. It's always gonna be a penalty for putting your hands on somebody or attempt to do so. Yeah, I learned that, you know, genuine toughness is not something you can fake because it can recognize how one carries themselves. Yes, famous, infamous, and not famous. Yes, the ignorant are just pawns. Yes, they are, and they don't even know. Note, because devotion to the streets will either lead you to concrete or a coffin. Yes, it will, and trust me, some people go in the coffin quicker than you know, the jail cell. Okay, it was interesting to hear Jay-Z quote Marlo in the Roots pick. Damn. That's when, if I'm correct, the price of the bird going up, and that, if I'm correct, that's when he went to the co-op meeting that time, and he just did a whole 360 on the whole co-op. Everybody, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna be real. As I said, Marlo is probably one of my favorite characters that they made in TV history. That's quote unquote what they call a villain. Yeah, he was making more money, but I was like, yo, that's crimey right there, cause everybody thought the price was the same, you know. And when he did that, he surprised all the men in that room that day, and it was like, oh, come on, come, like, you wilding out, you know. And I would say that was one of Marlo grimy moments, you know. If you say you're gonna run a fade, never think somebody just gonna let you. No, and man, let me tell you, I hear so much people in you know, world history talking about they gonna do this, they gonna do that to somebody. Like my mom's always said, man, don't threaten a person. For real. No matter who it is. Don't threaten a woman or a man. You know? And some people will say, oh, don't threaten a woman or a man if you ain't gonna do something to them. But I remember as a kid, my mother said, don't threaten nobody. Because that same person that you pose that threat to, you better be thinking in their mind that they thinking to make sure they're safe, and they're thinking in their mind that they're going to have to hurt you before you hurt them. And you may not mean what you said, but in their mind, they're going to mean how to protect themselves. And they're going to protect themselves the best way they could. And if hurting you is protecting themselves so you can't hurt them, they would hurt you. So watch what you say. Ain't gonna do it either. Oh yeah, those was the days. Sorry, God, please forgive me for this too, Ja. You tell people, go get your boy. You feel me? Like, I'm sorry, Ja. Like he gonna get the same thing that you just got. For real, like it ain't gonna be no difference. Like, please forgive me, Ja. Like, if I just beat you up, I'm gonna beat your boy up too. Probably even worse than I did you. You know? Cause I'm sorry, please forgive me, God, for saying this. You gonna only get me more mad of getting somebody after I done washed you up and done wrecked you. So you think like getting somebody is gonna do something? Like, nah, man. Go bring whoever you want. And that's the thing, yo. You don't go outside looking for no trouble, but you always defend yourself in this world that we live in. Never go out looking for trouble. I don't care who you is. Because when you go out looking for trouble, you will find it. Because I tell you like this, how my pops always say, you think you bad, there's always somebody badder than you. Straight up. And that's true. Because that's just something that you don't even play with. Like, for real. Like, you could be so-called bad in your mental mind, but the thing is, how they made a 9mm, and I'm not talking about no, like, guns. I'm talking about on a level where a 9mm is a little object. A AK is a bigger object than a 9mm, but they still spit out bullets. If you think you smart, it's somebody out there that's smarter than you, or it's somebody out there that will outsmart you. Okay? For because many people tried to go against the universe and God and all failed. Okay? I ain't never met a man or woman to beat God in the universe yet. And it ain't gonna be no man or woman to beat God in the universe yet. Because it can't be beaten. Who you know and mention, if not present like a spare tire, if it ain't on hand, what is it worth to you? Yep. Everybody knows somebody. But people don't think that. And one thing I learned that Mr. Lewis taught me too, the unknown is meant to be the unknown. Okay? For real, I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis. I ain't laughing at you. He used to like hit me with puzzles and gems, like, and the thing is, I was like 10 years old, and I remember almost all the stuff that he used to tell me when I was a kid, right? I had to like start finding out in my 20s, because you gotta imagine you 10 years old and an adult telling you the unknown is the unknown and it's meant to be the unknown. You there like, huh? You just mess up a little kid head telling them that. And I remember when he said that, right? You see it all today in life. Okay, you see where in the public eye people would brag and boast, right? But you don't see what's behind the scenes of what them people are standing on. And a lot of people are standing on air. Yeah, who's better than us? Someone is better than him or her. It is a never ending cycle. Yes, it is. The mind is a 9. That is incorrect. Can't mental detect. Can't metal detect. Yeah, and they be thinking that like it's limits to this life and everything is you could learn something or you could be Mr. Know It All or Mrs. Know It All. No, you gotta keep on going and keep on evolving. I am not gonna drag nobody into my one-on-one issue with somebody else because I don't believe in buying others a problem when it's my problem. Bingo. But others do because I say I knew this lady once just because she had like 5 seconds. You know, the universe is so real that, yeah, she's still alive till this day, but I will say this, she don't value life, and I still love her a million and infinity on, but I would say I don't like her. I don't hate her, you know, but I don't agree with her mind state. And now, I would say, like, I'm going to do a live one day too on people's mind state and mindset that was 14 years old, right? This was when I was young. A dude that was 14 years old. A dude that was 13 years old came to him that had glasses on, you know, and was talking heavy. The dude that was 14, he knew he could have beat the dude. But I'm going to be real to you. He was thinking that he beat this dude up right here. He knew that they was going to jump him later on or tomorrow, you know. So I'm going to tell you, he was fearing to touch the dude, you know. But the dude just keep on talking, right? And I remember only thing you could hear was crack, crack. Dude that was 14 years old, he punched the dude 2 times in the face in his glasses, you feel me? And broke his glasses. And he told them, he said, I don't care what you do after this. And it just came to the point where the little 13-year-old dude that was talking trash, right? Yeah, he did know some tough people, and he did come from a tough neighborhood of people that didn't play, but that wasn't him. And he thought it was okay to speak to somebody that wasn't a tough guy, but was somebody that knew how to fight. Okay? You ain't got to be a tough person, whether you're male or female, that know how to fight. Okay? Because it's many people in this world that go to martial arts classes with different martial arts divisions in this world. And let me tell you, I will say 75% on the globe of people that go to martial arts, they're not outside in this world using their martial arts against people in a negative way. So when people think that just because you talk tough, that means that you can fight, that is one of the biggest myths in world history. And people think that just because you're humble and quiet, you're a pushover. No way. No way. Because I done seen a lot of martial artists beat so-called hood dudes up in my lifetime. And I'm talking about not like break them up as in like some real fighting, but just like break them up as in showing them like, yo, I do this. Okay, you just talk this. You know? For real, like, and I'm not talking about they're fighting to hurt each other. Cause one thing that I learned about and I really respect with martial artists, the ones that really respect their craft, when you see two martial artists practicing, they practicing. They're not fighting with ego of saying that I'm about to put him in the hospital. No. Cause you know that a person that's in a gym and they're practicing with you, first thing in your mind that you are thinking is peace and safety. So all of the other people in the world that actually think you can go, no, that is it is disrespectful and it is nasty and it is ugly. Okay? Because I remember as a kid like being 7 years old and you seeing certain martial arts movies and you got it into your mind. Your mind ain't trained of thinking like, yeah, this is cool. But you just watching this one dude kick everybody butt in the movie. And you like, yeah. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I was one of those that I'm gonna try to throw a kick at my brother or my boy cousin's head. They used to tune me up, you know? And let me tell you something. One of the best times in my life with my boy cousins and my big brother was, may sound crazy and funny to y'all, but I will say is starting trouble with them and them beating me up because it was it was it was funny many times, you know, because I remember sometimes, you know, some of my big boy cousins, they was like, Delvin, you ain't had enough from yesterday or earlier, and you asking me a question like that when I was a kid was like the dumbest question you could ask, cause my body language and like me was like, is gonna tell you no, and I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna try my best to fight you. You're gonna beat me up, but I'm gonna keep coming every day, and that's all I can remember of like fighting them. Cause I have some boy cousins when we was kids. You got boy cousins. I remember my cousin Kay. Sometimes he'll just walk past you and slap you in your head, and you be there like you feel the fire from your toes straight up to your hair, and you knowing that yo he might beat you up, but you know what? You're not gonna let him get away with slapping you in your head, and that was always my attitude. Like sometimes I used to start trouble with some of them on purpose, you know, and to be honest with you, I liked it. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or come on here and try to give some weird explanation. No, I used to love to start trouble with my uncles, my brother, my boy cousins. I used to love it. I ain't gonna get on here and like lie and act politically correct. Like, no, I didn't really want to start trouble. No, I loved it. I loved it. You know, cause you had certain like boy cousins that all of them they had different ways of dealing with you, you know. I had one of my boy cousins one time. I remember I told him, I said, you too strong to be strong like that, cause he gonna hold me upside down and punch me in my stomach like 4 times, and I'm there like, I said, you too strong to be strong like that. You shouldn't be doing that. And he asked me, he said, why do you keep on bothering all of us? I said, I don't know yet. I'll tell you when I figure out an answer. And telling them stuff like that, like my boy cousins and my brother, they didn't want to hear that when I was a kid, because to you as a big person, that's you being smart, and I guess I was being smart, because as I said, bothering them was fun, and chilling around them, it was fun too, because I remember being a kid, and as I said in many of my lines, used to go to Brooklyn. They used to go shopping. They used to go to Central Park. They used to go to Prospect Park. They going to different places in the Bronx where my mother tell me stay in front of the building, or stay in front of the house. And your big brother, your boy cousins, the big dudes in the neighborhood, all of them, they're going different places. But as they used to say, you gotta wait your turn, Delvin. But like I said too in one of my lives, anytime they used to go shopping or whatever, they bring me back a shirt, some basketball shorts, like, and it was cool, because I remember one time my other cousin, Shiesty, he told me, he said, don't worry, Delvin. He said, I'll bring you back something. And I remember he bought me a black pair of basketball shorts with the white trimming on the side. I thought I was Michael Jordan. I thought I was Michael Jordan. For real. But, when it became my turn to start, and going, taking the bus and the train by myself, I remember I had to teach my other younger cousins and the other, younger people in the neighborhood, how to take the bus, how to take the train. And this is why I say, like, we grew up as a village, community, family for real. Even if people wasn't related to you, it was like, it wasn't nothing to go downstairs and ask for some sugar or a piece of butter, or somebody knock on your door, be like, yo, you got some butter or you got some sugar? And you be like, of course, come inside, come in the kitchen. And it wasn't nothing if somebody come to your house with a cup talking about they need a little bit of milk, or somebody came to your door with a bowl saying could they get some eggs. It wasn't nothing, because if you had it in your fridge or in your kitchen, they had it as well. And my brother taught me a lot of things, but one thing that sticks to me, he always say, people don't realize about how they treat people that they say they love. And if you say you love people and it's genuine, right? If you got it, they got it. They got it, you got it. You enjoy that Thanos treatment, bro. Remember when he was beating Thor ass in Endgames? No, bro, let me tell you something. I got a cousin named K, right? And that's the name that I will put out, but I ain't gonna put his name out. But let me tell you something. My cousin K, right? And he's the one that taught me how to play basketball and taught me how to throw my knuckles. Let me tell you something, bro. He probably beat me up like 60 times in my entire life growing up. And I remember it had days where I used to actually talk to myself like, am I going to win a fight today with him? Am I going to win today? And I remember at the end of the day sometimes, you remember when you was a little kid and you pulled a blanket over your head as a kid? I remember pulling a blanket over my head many times, going to sleep in the room on Prospect Avenue and saying, I'm going to get him. But when the next day came, he got me. Okay? But I will say with all of that, he is one of my boy cousins that told that same dude that Delvin could talk trash and he could do whatever he wants. That's our little cousin. Don't you ever put your hands on him. And I remember telling my big brother, I said, yo, I remember when we wasn't in the neighborhood, right? And we went to other people's neighborhoods or whatever. My big cousin, he ain't never let nobody put their hands on me. Because how people say, like, certain things was a sin. In my family, it don't matter who it is. It's kind of a sin for our family members to watch other people touch our family and we just stay there and act like it's nothing. We don't do that in this family. When you say you love people, you really love your people. And like how we was raised to love each other for real, Sometimes it's not you who's got someone else. It's the fact that you got you. And that's when you learn how to grow. When you got to have your own back. When you got to stand alone. And to some people, they may think, and it is lonely for a lot of people in this world, but when you stand alone, that's when you find out how great you are. When you stand alone, that's when you don't see all of the noise. And those that would always have your back physically, mentally, and spiritually, they would always have your back. And they will never sway away. You know, they will never go left or go right. They would always stand front and center with you. But those that ain't, they ain't gonna be there. If you can't cover you, you can't cover no one else. And that's what I mean, and many people mean in this world of, if you don't know how to stand strongly alone, how could you, excuse me, God, if you don't know how to stand strongly alone, right? How could you stand strongly in a group or a team or in a link? Because you would be what they call the weakest link in a chain. And foundation building, this is why you shouldn't have incorrect order. And what I mean by incorrect order is where, you know how first some people be trying to be in a biker club and they have the prospects, and the prospect do all of the dirty work. The prospect got to go to the store. The prospect got to clean the toilets. The prospect got to wash the dishes. The prospect got to clean all of the bikes. The prospect got to clean the tires. The prospect got to wash the cars. And you got to make sure that the garage is clean. You got to make sure the clubhouse is clean of being an MC prospect. Don't matter what color it is, or and you go through trials of being a prospect when you want to be part of an MC club. And I know a lot of people seen a little bit of what a prospect does on Sons of Anarchy, but in real life is a bit more, is more structured, and I would say is not programmed as we see on Sons of Anarchy, because some people in certain MC clubs, they have a heart, and it is going through different levels, to ride with a club. But I'm going to say this, if you want to be a part of something, you got to go through the heartaches. And you can't just want to be part of something because the name and the glory if you don't want to go through the hard times and the pain. You can't, and that goes for, I remember when I was a kid in the NBA and the NFL and the MLB, when rookies used to come into the league, you had to do your rookie year stuff. If you got to carry your team bags, you got to carry your team bags. If you got to be the first one there to practice, you got to be the first one there to practice. If you got to be the last one to leave the gym and put all the basketballs on the rack, you have to put all the basketballs on the rack. If you have to throw all the towels and all the clothes inside of the hamper bag at the end of practice, that's what you have to do. And some people be acting like simple things like that is hard. Somebody is trying to bully you or whatever. No. Simple things like that, or even like putting all of the footballs back inside the bag at the end of football practice, or getting all of the bats and putting all of them back on the wall, putting all of the baseballs back in the clubhouse. You got to do these things as a rookie, If you can't fight, you can't truly call yourself a fighter. No, and the thing is, you see, that's the thing. You're a fighter. So in your, I wouldn't say your profession, but your everybody think they could fight nowadays, but you have to be like the fighting skill that you have to be programmed with it, and it has to be on point, on call, and not for bullying, but for protection. You know, it's just like riding a bike. You don't forget, and I would say I didn't see Mr. Lewis in probably over 27 years, right? But every single thing he taught me, I still have in my head and my body. Like the song I played last night by 50 Cent, Boosie, and Buck. That line by Buck is facts, which is, don't do that. You ain't bout that. You don't sell that. You don't count that. You might grow up being around that, but you weren't there. Where we was getting down at Little Ninja. Rookies be having it twisted, man. No, I don't get the. Let me tell you something. And you know what? I see that these new age rookies nowadays, they have a problem with it. They have a problem with it. From the NFL to the MLB to even the NBA. A lot of us that's like 30 years old and up, we could remember watching the 90s of how many of these rookies had to come into these leagues. And I remember young Derek Jeter, and this is why Jeter would always be like one of those players like Tim Duncan and Larry Fitzgerald. Those are three players, right, from three different leagues, but they never been show-off type players. Okay, Tim Duncan, Larry Fitzgerald, and Derek Jeter. They just came and did their job to the best of their ability. And you can tell that they put in work, because I don't care what nobody say with a lot of numbers too. Larry Fitzgerald is underrated when it comes to rating wide receivers in NFL history, because we always hear Randy Moss and Jerry Rice name and T.O. But come on, man, give Larry Fitzgerald some props. Okay, rookies be having it twisted, man. It's about rank. No, and it's about rank and order in sports, because I don't care who you is, but don't think that you're going to be on an NFL team, right, on the offensive side, right? And don't think that you're going to override a quarterback when y'all on the field playing. Don't think you could do that, okay? Because me, I'm going to say this. The coach, yes, he's the coach of the team on the NFL. But when it comes to us being on that field, that quarterback is the coach and he's the controller of that offense. And every player on that offense, y'all must, you're going to have an opinion on certain things, but I'm going to say like this. The quarterback is supposed to have the last say. Okay? Yes, you may have your opinion, and the quarterback is supposed to be open to listen to your opinion, and if it's running correctly with everybody in the team, yes, let's run that play. But if I have a play and I'm the quarterback, you better listen. You better listen. And it's just like when it comes to the captain in the NBA or the point guard. That coach gonna run all the plays when y'all on the sideline, but when y'all get on that court, the most vocal person on that team is gonna lead the team or that point guard. Because you can have a point guard, right? And he may be not that much talkative to the other players. And I would always say that you ain't got to brag and boast, but you got to communicate with your teammates. It's about rank, and they don't be there at first. You can't think you're going to send someone to the store when they own the store and just testing the rookies. Oh no, and they always testing, because the thing is, they got some rookies, they be coming in and thinking that they don't got to listen to the veterans. What you think? I ain't saying that some veterans will snitch the rookies out, but what you think will happen when team owners and certain people in the higher up see that the rookie, because sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, the rookie do get away with nonsense, and the team owners, because you may be a good quarterback or running back, they'll sell a veteran out, and that veteran will be off the team and the rookie will be on the team, and you seen where you just messed up your team because you took one of the best veterans that you had off for a cocky rookie, or somebody that you thought had more potential than somebody that been on your team for years, helping you get through the dirt, get through the trenches. You have to respect. Nobody starts out a boss, leader, don, or OG. That comes with age, time, growth, and wisdom. And the ones that understand this earn their place as those titles, God. Okay, vets that understand growth elevate. The ones coming up understand, and overstand. And that's why I said in my earlier live, I believe that VJ Edgecombe from the Philadelphia 76ers, he has the factor where in sports, right, you have to be willing to learn. And you have to be willing, I would say, from everybody. Even the people that's your age, or even other point guards, or other running backs, or even other people that don't play your position, because everything helps. Everything helps out, because wonder if you got to play center one day. Wonder if you got to play wide receiver one day. Wonder if you got to play corner. Wonder if you got to play a different position, center field. Like, I wouldn't say wonder if you got to play back catcher, but wonder if they put you in designated hitting spot. And this is why they said if you like the 15 person on the end of the bench in basketball, every single day that y'all playing a regular season game or a playoff game, or even in the NBA finals, or even the conference finals, you better be ready when that coach calls your name. Okay? Because, see, many people would be mad being on the sidelines and not getting in the game. But you know what? Always be ready for him to call your name, or her to call your name. And always be ready, the 4 other people that's on your team and the rest of the people on your team, you must always be ready to give all of y'all hope, give all of y'all positive energy. And with that, I always say, when everybody go 100% and more on the team, there ain't no way y'all could lose. Because I had to learn, like, the older I got, it's the players that's on the field and on the court and on the concrete. And I am one of those that see coaches and head coaches, see, my belief of them, this is a big business, all of these different leagues and sports, so they need these different coaches to fill in the spot of order. And I remember my basketball coach in 7th grade, Mr. Howard, didn't want to listen to him. Because, as I said, like, I learned to play basketball from watching on TV from in 198 Park and myself and my boy cousin. And I always had a problem when it came to play organized basketball when I was a kid, when the coach always came with the timeout and the pulling you on the side and taking you out. I didn't like that, because I had it into my mind like, yo, gonna play Superman every game, and I had to learn that, sometimes you get tired. Sometimes different people may play defense better than you. Sometimes you may play defense better than somebody. So even if you have somebody that came off the bench, right? And you there playing, he maybe do something better than you. So you have to understand that it ain't about you. It's about the W. Okay? It's about the W. Independent goals don't matter when it comes to team sports. Many people do fight for independent goals, and many people do their thing in sports for independent goals and trophies, independent trophies. But if you ain't playing golf or tennis or single swimming, and it's many other single sports that I could call off the head, like, you shouldn't be thinking like that, because, and this is where I learned that the coach was important. Even though I'm gonna be real, I have to always ride with being real with it. I didn't understand the coaches as a kid, and I always did get angry at a lot of coaches around the world. I'm not gonna lie. Don't matter if it was like China, Japan, or whatever. I didn't understand, and with growth comes understanding. And I had to understand, to shout out to my cousin, to overstand, because if you want to think you're going to be Superman or Superwoman all the time in that sport, let me tell you something. You're going to fall hard. You're going to get your little 30 points a game, maybe, your 2 home runs, your 2 touchdowns. But when you look at the end of the season, your team might be out the playoffs. Your team might be the embarrassment of the league. Your team might not get no money. Your team might generate no money. And in sports teams, when you look at certain players that go greedy, you see the collapse around the team, and you see the collapse around the city in that sports team. You see where people don't believe in that player no more. People don't believe in the team no more. Some people stop buying the jerseys. Some people stop buying the hats, stop supporting the sneakers. And this is when you see stuff go astray. Stuff go away. Stuff start to go bonkers. That's why I'm going to say this too. In this modern day, you better put, in the NBA, a lot of people like to put respect on Greg Popovich's name when they want. But when you talk about best coach in the NBA history, sometimes people always want to say Phil Jackson. But I'm going to say this. I was one of those people that said it too, but I don't like to go with the crowd. Yes, people call him the Zen Master. Shout out to Tex Winter, and I'm going to keep saying it. Phil Jackson didn't create the triangle offense. It's so messed up that he will be known for that throughout, NBA and basketball history, but no, he didn't create it, and Phil Jackson get away with a lot of stuff that they don't give people props like Greg. Greg, if I could remember, his two All-Stars, or three, he had to work with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Tony Parker. And you could put Manu Ginobili in there too. But other than that, when Greg Popovich became the coach of the San Antonio Spurs, he didn't have superstar players. He had Tim Duncan after David Robinson retired and Tony Parker. And you know what? He know how to work with role players. He know how to make people do their job, just like Bill Belichick. I don't care what people say about Bill Belichick. Yeah. What him and Tom Brady did together was cool. And it will always be NFL and football history, because I would say Bill Belichick, Andy Reid. I love those two coaches, because a lot of people, they don't like Bill Belichick because they don't like the New England Patriots and they don't like Tom Brady. But as I said, get your emotions out of this. I ain't liking them for the team or nothing. It's football, and people like to have their emotions with a lot of teams and stuff, Solid chat, bro. I gotta head out. Stay safe and blessed. You stay safe and blessed too, brother. Thank you for your time and your energy. Yeah. But, I don't have a problem. And Joe Torre for the Yankees too, because what is it? I think 5 championships, we got with Joe Torre, He did his thing, and Joe Torre had to deal with a lot of different players in his tenure in being a Yankees coach, the Yankees skipper. But I would say Joe Torre was a good skipper, He made sure that even though he had all them superstars throughout the years, good, bad, or ugly, he tried to handle the Yankees organization the best way he could when they went on the field. George Steinbrenner did what he did. And when he passed the business over to his sons, Hank and Hal, I don't remember who's the oldest son, but the oldest son, he was the one that I don't think was doing a lot of good business, Because I remember when they used to show him on SportsCenter sometimes and on the newspapers after George died. And I always thought, I don't really remember how much championships the Yankees won after George died, I think too, but the older brother, I just always thought that he was greedy and he think he could do stuff his way, even though the father did that too. But I believe the father had understanding of his organization. The father had understanding of where he wanted his team to go, and the sons was just his sons. And I'm gonna find out who the older son name is, but I know the 2 children name is Hank and Hal. But the older one, I just always thought he wanted to do what he wanted to do. Love and light, people. I shall be back later on. This was a good one.